Hello guys, a shout out to those truth seekers who are supporting the channel. Thanks. The immensely large creature in the body of which we are consists of trillions of cells, many of which are worlds similar to the world we live in. It feeds on the souls of the inhabitants dying within the cells of its body. Each such soul farm of a world has the shape of a half-full sphere and is packed with around 100 subterranean levels in its lower half. Those levels are teeming with millions of species of animal and botanical life forms. Humans were created with the purpose of farming, slaughtering and fishing out of the oceans and seas billions of animals on a daily basis, and by doing that to unknowingly and unwillingly contribute to vast quantities of soul-sustenance. There were civilizations in the past that became aware of the fact that they are inside the body of a monstrous, soul-eating, immensely large creature. Those civilizations fell into a state of panic and desperation. They stopped reproducing. They also stopped farming, slaughtering and fishing out of the oceans billions of animals on a daily basis. And by doing that, they became counterproductive in the eyes of our evil creator entities and were annihilated and replaced with another batch of newly bioengineered humans. Those annihilation events are called resets. There were many resets in the past, some of which were originally done, while others included the annihilation of humans on the entire surface of the affected level. Some of the first humans were titans of several kilometers tall, and the first resets didn't even involve awakened civilizations, but had the purpose of replacing the titans with smaller giants. Here are some examples of reset events. Floods. The first resets were done by floods and had the purpose of annihilating the titans. The water level rose a few kilometers and created a layer of mud that was more than 500 meters deep. Many of the titans, as well as many of the enormous animals they farmed, got stuck in the mud and starved or drowned to death. After the annihilation of the titans, smaller giants were introduced and were killed later by additional floods. Bombardment. There were many cities in close proximity to the North Pole regions. Present-day Siberia, Alaska and North Canada are examples of such regions. The inhabitants of those cities were bombarded and killed by large chunks of tissue that were cut off the dome, gained great speed during their fall and hit, devastated and buried those cities with an unimaginable force. Now there are lakes on the exact locations where those cities were. The chunks were from the same tissue that is being annually cut from the dome by the creatures in the UFOs in order to keep the dome smooth by removing out of control tissue growth, the result of which we see in the form of meteor showers. But the chunks that were dropped on those cities were considerably bigger and didn't burn up during their fall, but turned into powerful and devastating bombs. Freeze. There are many 500-year-old maps depicting large cities in Iceland. Today, on the exact locations of those cities, there are enormous glaciers stretched across the area. Those entire cities with their inhabitants are frozen solid deep within those glaciers. The inhabitants of those cities woke up to the sinister facts of reality and paid the ultimate price. Similar freeze resets were also done in Greenland, Russia, Canada, Alaska. In fact, the Arctic and Antarctic regions were free of cold only 500 years ago. The freezing code was additionally introduced to those regions in order to make it impossible to travel there and witness the scary sightings of the rise of the dome in the Antarctic rim, as well as the Whirlpool Sea in the Arctic. Second sun. The most recent reset events were around 200 years ago and included annihilation by microwaves. One such example was in 1812 during Napoleon's attack on Moscow. Higher ranked officers from both sides witnessed the appearance of a second sun, shortly after which the city of Moscow ignited and was incinerated. Similar examples were also reported in the United States around those periods of time, and all of them involved microwave attacks after which the bodies of humans were found totally dehydrated but with their hairs still intact. The next reset. The next reset will include the annihilation of awakened people on an individual level. The cells of each organ within our body operate within a specific frequency. Smartphones and other technology can create anti-frequencies on demand that are the exact opposite of the frequencies in which the cells of our organs work, causing acute and deadly organ failure when and where needed. The 5G enrollment, for example, could be a great tool for the annihilation of individual awakened people without the need to kill the majority of the oblivious sheeple. Kidney failure, liver failure, brain hemorrhage, and other medical conditions will be common causes of death for the awakened among us. Bye.